This video is going to tell you why self-discipline is difficult and how to make it easier, including 5 methods which have helped me completely transform my life over the last 10 years. I'm Ross Jacobson, aka The Disciplined Rebel. This channel is all about helping you build self-discipline. If you like what you see here, hit the like button, and if you're new, subscribe for more videos like this. Now let's do this. For this video, I'm going to divide things into 2 sections. First, I'm going to discuss why self-discipline is so difficult. Second, I will talk about how to make self-discipline easier. Section 1. Why self-discipline is difficult. Self-discipline is about learning to control yourself so you can work towards your goals even when no one is forcing you to. The question is, if you want to do something so badly, why is it so hard to get yourself to do it? Here are 4 reasons why self-discipline is so difficult. Reason number 1. Self-discipline is difficult due to the resistance you experience. At first glance, it seems like self-discipline should be easy. Imagine you were a character in a video game, and you were controlling yourself. If you wanted to make your video game self accomplish a goal, you'd simply click a button, and your video game self would do it. However, for some reason in real life, getting yourself to do things is so much harder than pushing a button. But why is that the case? The answer lies in the resistance that you face, that your video game self doesn't have to. This resistance comes in many forms, such as pain, effort, stress, fear of failure, fear of the unknown, lack of energy, and lack of confidence. In other words, you face resistance from the negative physical, mental, and emotional sensations that you go through when you attempt to accomplish something. Reason number 2. The problem of present bias makes self-discipline challenging. There's a well-studied phenomenon called present bias, which states that most of the time you do things to benefit your present self, and you discount the effects your actions have on your future self. One of the reasons why self-discipline is so difficult is because the things you want to do are often things where your present self has to do most of the work, and your future self gets most of the benefits. Your present self doesn't like this deal. Why do a ton of work just to benefit your future self? One way around the problem of present bias is to learn to delay gratification. That is, to resist short-term rewards in favor of long-term benefits. That's definitely a part of the equation and something I'm all for. But it's also a hard skill to learn, and will likely take a long time to develop. Later on, I will share some other methods for reducing present bias, which can help make self-discipline easier. Reason number 3. Self-discipline is difficult because habits are tough to develop. Your life is made up of hundreds of habits, which you've accumulated since you were born. Once you form habits, you can do them without giving them a second thought. The problem is, adopting new habits can be incredibly difficult. Take exercising, for example. There's some people who have already developed the habit of working out. For those people, exercise feels great. It's not a chore for them because they've already pushed past the initial resistance, and exercise has become a routine part of their lives. What if you have never formed the habit of exercising? For you, it's going to be a lot more challenging, since you have to rewire your brain in order to make working out a habit. Reason number 4. The try too hard cycle can make self-discipline harder. Here's what the try too hard cycle looks like. You start by wanting to change your life, so you decide to try to change everything at once, which leads to you burning out and then giving up. After doing nothing for a while, you get bored and fed up and decide you want to change your life again. And this cycle keeps repeating, over and over. An example for me was with working out. For the longest time, whenever I wanted to get in better shape, instead of doing a simple workout to start, I would do the most hardcore workout I could find. Then after 1 week, I'd burn out and not work out for months. I went through the same cycle for applying to jobs, trying to eat healthily, and countless other things. Then there's another problem related to the try too hard cycle, called procrastination. Procrastination is related because when you procrastinate, you often spend a lot of time trying to make the perfect plan, but they never get around to following through with it. It's like going from the want to change your life part of the cycle right to the giving up part, without even getting to the steps that involve really doing things. Believe me, I've been there too. I can't tell you how long I read about the benefits of meditating before I got around to actually meditating. Literally years. Section 2. How to make self-discipline easier. In this section, I'm going to share 5 methods which have made self-discipline far easier for me. My life has gotten so much better since I started using these methods, including my health, relationships, career, pretty much everything else in my life. Method number 1. Be as specific as possible with your goals. One thing that has radically improved my ability to stay self-disciplined is to form clear, specific goals. I used to have lots of broad, vague goals, like, I want to start meditating, I want to get in amazing shape, or, tomorrow, I swear I'm going to clean my apartment. When it came time to meditate, exercise, or clean my apartment, I would get overwhelmed and give up. Then after years of this pattern, I started doing something different. I began to write down super specific goals in my to-do list, like, I'm going to meditate 5 minutes in the morning on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And all of a sudden, I found self-discipline was nowhere near as difficult. If I made a specific goal, I was much more likely to follow through with it, because I thought through a plan for how to accomplish the goal. I also started to realize that some of my previous broad, vague goals were things I didn't even want to do. They seemed great in theory, but once I began to detail out the specific steps that need to be done, I realized I didn't want to do them in practice. And eliminating those things freed up my time and mental space to be able to focus my attention on the goals that I really did want to do. Method number 2, don't have an all or nothing mentality. Back in the day, when I used to pursue a goal, I would have an all or nothing approach. I either achieved my goal or I didn't. Problem was, this mentality led to me getting easily discouraged when I didn't achieve that big final goal I was looking for. For example, I went through a 2-year period where I couldn't find a job. When job searching, I would get demoralized whenever I didn't get an offer. That would often deter me from applying to jobs for a few weeks. But later on, I started to give myself credit for the little achievements, like hearing back after submitting a resume, having a good phone interview, or simply sending in an application. As soon as I started to give myself credit for these little things, something remarkable happened. I started to become more disciplined and persistent in looking for jobs. Not only that, I did it with a whole lot more enthusiasm and confidence, which likely showed during interviews. And as a result, I was able to get a job within just a few months of getting rid of my all or nothing mentality. Method number 3, start small and take advantage of the spillover effect. The spillover effect is what I call the idea that progress in one area, even if really small, can lead to a series of exponential breakthroughs in other parts of your life. This is exactly what happened to me when I turned my life around. For a few years after school, I was in a bad slump, where I spent all day playing games, eating junk food, and not doing anything productive. But then one summer I made one small change. I decided to play a little basketball each day. At the time I didn't realize it, but looking back, this was the moment my life began to turn around. Basketball led to me lifting weights led to me eating healthier, getting healthier led to increased confidence, and so on. In just a year, my life was so much better it was like night and day. I had a job, a girlfriend, more confidence, better social skills, and much more self-discipline. The thing is, the reason why self-discipline is difficult is often because we try to make huge changes. But if you start small and take advantage of the positive momentum that even the smallest of changes can create, you will start to improve your life in ways that add up to great things. Method number 4, align the interests of your present self and future self. Earlier I mentioned how one of the reasons why self-discipline is difficult is because of present bias, which occurs due to a misalignment of interests between your present and future self. What if you could align those interests? If your present self and your future self want the same things, you have the winning formula for making self-discipline easier. Here are a few ways to align the interests of your present and future self, which have made a big difference for me. First, try prioritizing goals which your present self is likely to enjoy or can learn to enjoy. Second, make things as easy and convenient as possible for yourself. The easier it is to do, the more likely your present self will want to do it. And finally, try to find joy in the process, not just in the outcome. For example, if you're working out, don't just wait until your future self gains 20 pounds of muscle to be happy. Instead, focus on the aspects of the process that you like or can learn to like, such as the satisfaction of learning a new exercise, the sense of accomplishment from pushing yourself for another rep, or the endorphin rush you get. Once you find things you like about the process, your present self will be a lot less likely to resist doing it. I've included a link to a video and printable guide in the description below with much more on how to focus on the process. Method number 5, forgive yourself when things don't go perfectly. Back when self-discipline was more difficult for me, I would feel horrible whenever things didn't go the way I planned. If I missed a workout, I felt regret. If I procrastinated a deadline at school, I felt guilt. If I tried to apply to a job and didn't get it, I felt shame. And these negative emotions would often lead me to give up. Well, then I learned, slowly but surely, there was no way to avoid failure. It was going to happen no matter how hard I tried. And now I've realized that when I mess up, the most important thing is to forgive myself and keep moving forward. I haven't gotten rid of the negative emotions, but I have gotten better at moving past them sooner. Remember, don't put pressure on yourself to be perfect. Everyone slips up once in a while. The key is just not to give up for good. I would really appreciate it if you liked this video. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to get notified when new videos come out. Thanks for watching, and best of luck in your journey to build self-discipline.